For years, friends gave us coffee cups, cozy couches, and the feeling that everything behind the scenes was just as warm as what we saw on screen. But then Lisa Kudrow, the quiet one, the calm one, the one who always seemed completely fine, said something that cracked that image wide open. In a single interview, she pulled back the curtain. She talked about mean behavior, about uncomfortable conversations, about things that didn't match the world fans thought they knew. And suddenly, people started asking a question nobody expected. Was Friends really as happy behind the scenes as it looked? It all started with an interview in the Times of London in April 2026. At first, it seemed like a typical reflection. A beloved actress looking back on a legendary show. But then, right in the middle of it, Kudrow dropped a line that changed everything. She said there was mean stuff going on behind the scenes. And just like that, the story shifted. Now here's the part that makes it even more surprising. She wasn't angry. She wasn't bitter. She spoke calmly, almost casually, like this was something she had already accepted a long time ago. But if that's true, why say it now? Because what she described wasn't just harmless tension. It wasn't the usual behind-the-scenes drama you hear about on big productions. It was something deeper. Something that, if it happened in a workplace today, would raise serious questions. She talked about the writer's room. And that's where things start to feel uncomfortable. Friends was built on warmth. 10 seasons. 6 characters. A story that made millions of people feel at home. But the scripts that created that world came from a room that, according to Kudrow, felt very different. She said it was mostly men. Around a dozen or so writers. And when things went wrong, they didn't always handle it kindly. If an actor messed up a line in front of a live audience, the feedback wasn't always gentle. It could be harsh, direct, sometimes humiliating. And this wasn't happening to random extras. This was happening to the main cast. The same actors who would later become some of the highest paid stars in television history. So how did something like that go unchecked? Then it gets even more uncomfortable. Kudrow revealed that late-night conversations in that writer's room sometimes crossed a line. She said the men would talk openly about their sexual fantasies involving Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox. And the word she used to describe it was intense. Not shocking. Not unacceptable. Just intense. And that choice of words says a lot. Because it suggests something else was going on. Something quieter. Something more complicated. So how did she deal with it? Her answer was simple. She chose not to care. She said that if things were said behind her back, then they didn't matter. She focused on the work. On the show. On getting through it. And in a strange way, that mindset helped her survive it. But it also raises a bigger question. Should she have had to? Because this wasn't just one person's experience. Years earlier, someone else had already spoken up about the same environment. A writer's assistant named Amaran Elisle worked on the show in the late 1990s. Her job was to sit in a room and write everything down. Every joke. Every idea. Every conversation. And according to her, what she heard made her deeply uncomfortable. She later filed a lawsuit, claiming that the environment was filled with explicit comments, inappropriate behavior, and constant sexual talk. She said it felt hostile. Not creative. Not harmless. But something much harder to ignore. So what happened next? The case went all the way through the courts. And in 2004, the California Supreme Court ruled against her. The reasoning? Because the show dealt with relationships and adult topics, those kinds of conversations could be considered part of the creative process. Think about that for a second. What she experienced was dismissed as part of the job. And with that decision, the conversation stopped. Or at least, it seemed to. Because now, decades later, Lisa Kudrow is essentially confirming that the environment described back then wasn't exaggerated. It was real. It was normal. It was just how things worked. And yet, nobody from the show has responded publicly.
No statements. No denials.
Just silence. So why is Kudrow speaking now? To understand that, you have to understand who she is beyond Phoebe Buffay. Before Friends, Lisa Kudrow wasn't chasing fame. She was focused on academics. She studied psychobiology, worked with her father on medical research, even co-authored a scientific paper. Acting wasn't the original plan. She found comedy later. Through improved. Through small roles. Through years of rejection. She auditioned for shows and got turned down. Lost roles. Missed opportunities. It wasn't easy. So when Friends finally came along, it wasn't luck. It was the result of years of persistence, which makes what happened behind the scenes feel even more complicated. Because after all that work, this was the environment she stepped into. And yet, despite everything, the show became one of the biggest successes in television history. The cast eventually negotiated together, refused to be divided. By the final seasons, each of them was earning $1 million per episode. It was groundbreaking, unheard of at the time. And even today, they continue to earn millions every year from reruns and streaming. The show never really ended. It just kept going. So here's the question. Does that kind of success make the difficult parts worth it? Because for Kudrow, the story doesn't end there. In 2023, everything changed again when Matthew Perry passed away. His death hit the cast hard. They had always described themselves as a family. And in that moment, it became clear just how real that bond was. After his passing, Kudrow did something she had avoided for years. She started watching Friends again. Watching herself. Watching them together. And for the first time, she saw it differently. Not just the show, but everything around it. And maybe that's why she's speaking now. Not to tear anything down. Not to attack the legacy. But to tell the truth about what it actually took to create it. Because what she revealed isn't just about one show. It's about an entire era. A time when certain behaviors were ignored, excused, normalized, especially for women in entertainment. And speaking up came with risks most people didn't want to take. So they stayed quiet. Until now. Lisa Kudrow isn't an outsider. She's not someone looking in from a distance. She was right there, at the center of it. And she's saying, calmly and clearly, that things weren't always what they seemed. No drama. No shouting. Just honesty. And maybe that's what makes it so powerful. Because she didn't destroy the image of Friends. She complicated it. And once you see that, you can't really unsee it.